Welcome back to Positive Connections Radio and HALT and Call for Backup. Today we are working on Step 7. Step 7, the secular version. And Jim, why don't you read us the Step 7 original version?
Love to, everybody, and welcome back to HALT and Call for Backup. Mike, this is Step 7, and this is the old school definition where we have faith integrated through the steps. Step 7 is humbly asking Him, capital H, meaning God, our higher power. And Step 7 is about humility, not humiliation. It's simply recognizing that we cannot remove our defects by our own willpower. If we could have fixed ourselves, we would have done it already. So Step 7 is now asking our higher power, our God, to remove our shortcomings.
Nice. Well, let's take God out of it then.
Sounds good.
Secular version is this. Step 7, secular, worked on letting go of harmful patterns and made space for better ones. So in Step 7, when we're working on letting go of harmful patterns and made space for better ones, it's where change starts to show up in real life and not just in thought. We're actually doing some action in here. There's daily actions, habits, and choices. And it's a hands-free, hands down, feet on the ground step. And it's about creating space for growth and letting go of what no longer serves us. And for first responders, this step can be empowering, and it really is. And it brings the structure that is so essential in recovery and purpose to the emotional work, lots of unemotional work in these earlier steps. So we already got through 6. Now we're on that back end of it. 7, leading up to the end of these steps to incorporate in your life. And this is where real change starts to occur.
100%, Mike. And it's, again, about humility, asking for help in the old school steps for God, our higher power, to remove what's blocking us from being the person we want to be. We don't remove the defects by ourselves. Our job is now willingness. We've done all the legwork to get us to Step 7, and now we're working on just being willing for God, our higher power, to help us removing the things that we don't like, to help us be the people we want to be. It's about just being honest, being open, not being perfect, doing the best you can, and just keep trying, keep showing up. And remember that our defects, our imperfections, they're not going to go away overnight. Many of us have years and years. We talk about neuroplasticity, training our mind, retraining our minds. We have these habits that have developed all the years. So there's no expectation of perfection in this, but there's every expectation that we start moving the needle and developing new habits. And what we're doing here is building a relationship with our God, our higher power. And the defects will get removed through action, living differently, practicing the principles, being aware. Step 7 is the beginning of what transformation is all about. It's not the end, it's the very beginning. Mike, what would you say about that from a secular position, Step 7?
I just want to do this for people that are struggling with it, and hopefully God will come in their lives. Hopefully they'll have a higher power. So hopefully that they'll be able to see there's something more than just them on this earth.
Mike, as far as Step 7 goes, it's important to remember that you did the groundwork in Step 6 by becoming ready to let go of the old behaviors. Now, Step 7 is where you take a deep look within yourself to remove what no longer serves you: fear, resentment, dishonesty, selfishness, whatever has been blocking your growth.
Yeah, and that's letting go of harmful patterns. And unless we let go of these harmful patterns, there's no space to build healthy, good, positive patterns. So the unhealthy patterns can be anger, avoidance, control, shame. And it isn't about self-denial. It's about making room for those healthier patterns to grow. And like I said, you can't build new habits in a space that's already full with old ones.
Right. Mike, let me ask you this. Pretend for a moment that I'm your sponsee and you're my sponsor, and we're now going into step 7. What would your encouragement be to me from your secular steps?
I would say that it's progress, not perfection. This is a daily, practical, sometimes messy work, but every stage counts. 1 through 12 counts, and try not to beat yourself up over it. Know that you're taking it one step at a time, and it's just have some patience. A lot of us are afraid to drop that control, to be vulnerable. It's foreign to us to have that patience. It's hard to have patience. I have no patience. I want to get through this. Take it one step at a time. And you don't have to do it alone. We have communities out there. We have people that can help you maintain accountability and structure, and it increases the chances that this will stick. And not beating yourself up over it, just getting through it and being open and honest and letting go of those things that don't serve you anymore. Why are we holding on to these things, these resentments? Why are we letting others live rent free in our brains, right? Why are we holding all this stuff? Why can't we just let it go, drop it for now? Is it that important? Just like we use those acronyms. Like, wait, why am I talking? Why am I holding on to this stuff if it's not serving me any longer? It's making me feel dark inside. I just can't move on in a positive when I'm constantly thinking about other things outside of me. Because the real magic happens right here. It's an inside job. Everything about life I found is right inside me. I've had it all along, but the world tells me it's outside, where I have to go and reach for it or attain it or get it or manipulate. Whatever it is, it didn't tell me it's right here in my heart. I've been holding on to it all along. That's why we call it an inside job. This is my inside job. It all starts within me being honest and open and trusting myself first. And once I've got through that part of my life, then I could be open and honest and trust other people too, and hold myself accountable. And life is a lot easier that way when I think of it as an inside job, not something I have to attain that's on the outside or achieve. Like when I first got into recovery, when they said, do the work, you have to do the work, I was thinking something strenuous. I thought something that I needed to go out and I needed to like work on this. It's not really like that. I found out it's doing the work. It's putting myself in a positive direction. That 1 degree of change, right? If I just change one thing in my life into a positive, it's going to eventually blossom into something great down the road. But I have to be patient. It takes time. Remember, time and distance. And it will take time, and you will start thinking more positively, and you will be acting more positively, and your life will become manageable again, and you'll be able to handle those situations that used to baffle us out there differently, because they're still going to happen no matter how sober you are, how mentally fit you are, how physically fit you are, how spiritually fit you are. It doesn't change what's on the outside because it all starts here on the inside.
One of the things that is really beautiful about the steps is it completely forces us, and that's a strong word. You have the willingness to sit in all of this now, where back in the day you would use your addiction, the drugs or the alcohol or whatever that is, to avoid these feelings and be caught in that spiral downward. The whole arrested development piece. I'm a 30-year-old, 20-year-old, 30-year-old, 40-year-old, 50-year-old, whatever age, and here I am trying to do the steps, and my first reaction is to go back to what I've been doing. And step 7 reminds us to be honest with ourselves, do the best you can today. You don't have to be perfect. You don't have to be perfect at humility. Just be willing. And the removal happens gradually. just like for anybody else. You don't have to be in addiction or recovery to change a habit. We all do. And it just takes, like Mike said, practice and dedication, time and distance. And step 7 keeps us there, practicing humility.
Humility is great too. And I think that if you can start focusing on what you're building in your life and not just what you're dropping. We as human beings, we get these habits going. We get these addictions or whatever we're dealing with. And a lot of times we focus on like, well, I can never do that again. I can never go down this road again. Right. And we focus so much on what we're giving up. It's like a really bad relationship. It's a real toxic relationship that the love-hate where you might not see how harmful it is to you, but everybody else can around you. And I might be in this contemplative state like, well, I know there's something going on, but I'm not willing to change it yet. I haven't got into the preparation stage yet. I haven't got into the action stage yet. And sometimes it takes time. It does take time to get there, and it has to have that willingness. However, step 7 works with making practical decisions in your life. Now that you've got to this step, you're able to have that cognitive ability to make more wise decisions in your life and letting go of those things that really have brought us down for so long.
What are the defects that no longer serve us? Is it anger? Is it fear? Is it frustration? Is it pain? That's just the tip of the iceberg. What are the defects in our lives that no longer serve us? And once we have that self-awareness, that's the beginning of our transformation. You can't go anywhere. You can't do anything unless you have self-awareness.
Yes. Yeah. And Jim, I'll ask you a question. How do you know? So people are listening. How do you know when a new pattern is starting to take root? How do we know that?
Sometimes it's this moment of clarity. You know what? I used to wake up in the morning and I would wake up angry. I would wake up bitter. I couldn't stop the evilness from just coming across my lips. Everybody, everything in my life was negative, negative, negative. And all of a sudden this morning when I woke up and I was having my cup of coffee, I felt peace. I felt contentment. I was able to sit still and say thank you. Who are you thanking? I don't know. God, the universe. Thank you. My sponsor, the people that are helping me, my family, my friends, thank you for helping me make this small change. And from here, I'll grow a little bit more. That's what I experience personally and professionally. I hear people say, something amazing happened today. What's that? I didn't get mad at my boyfriend, girlfriend, spouse. I didn't get mad. Something amazing happened today. What's that? I actually apologized. I was very short with whoever. And back in, the old Jim would have ignited and gone ballistic. But suddenly I just paused and I realized it's no big deal. And Mike, you talk about it doesn't matter what anybody else thinks. It matters what you think. And before, I've had people say this before, I would want to let everybody know that I was pissed off. I was going to let everybody know that I was on attack mode, that you're not going to get something over on me. You're not going to hurt me. So therefore, if I go on attack mode and come at you, I'm basically throwing up a smoke screen. And now I realized I don't care. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter what you think. It matters what I think. And I want to keep this going.
Yeah. And life really sucks sometimes. Really does suck sometimes. It's hard to live. It's hard with everything else going around. You're watching the news. You're like outside of yourself, not really knowing where to go. You might be scared. You might be fearful of things. But the biggest thing, like you said, is it's none of my business what others think about me. I have to pull myself away from that, because if I think of myself highly, if I know that I'm honest, if I know I'm doing the best that I can in this world, then it doesn't make a difference what you say about me or what you think about me, because I know the truth because it's inside me. The only time where I want to fight you on it is if I am dishonest to myself and I'm holding in those secrets and I don't want you to see, and I want to put this mask on and I don't want you to get behind it to dig in deep to see what's really going on with me. Then I'm worried about what you think about me, what you say about me. I want to protect these secrets because I'm so fearful of it getting out. That stigma is so thick that if you knew who I really was, you wouldn't be my friend anymore. You wouldn't talk to me anymore. You would disown me. You'd walk away. You'd walk out of my life and I'd be alone forever. And that's all negative thinking. That's all negative self-talk. That inner critic might be telling me that, but it is a lie. And I am okay because I start with myself. I start inside my heart and move forward. And I don't care how corny it sounds. I don't care how hokey dokey, hippy dippy bullshit it sounds. I've changed and I am grateful.
Step 7, everybody, is about humility, willingness, and being open to change. It's asking you to honestly and humbly let go of the patterns, ask your sponsor for help, taking a look at resentments and fear, dishonesty, selfishness, or anything that contributes to destructive behavior. And it doesn't mean being humiliated. It just means being honest about limitations that you have and being open to growth. You're not expected to fix yourself by your own willpower. It's an act of surrender. I can't do this. I won't do this anymore. I need to go. I choose to go. I flip my words, Mike. I find the importance and the empowerment of not saying I need to do this, but I choose to do this. I choose to surrender. I choose to surrender to people that can help me figure myself out, the wisdom that's there. And the cool thing about including others in this process is you're not isolating anymore, you're not secret keeping anymore, and you're not keeping to yourself anymore. You're welcoming yourself back to the planet, like you hear me say all the time, that you find out that change is possible with help. The strength of the wolf is the pack, and the strength of the pack is the wolf. It's progress, not perfection.
Exactly. And change is scary. Change is scary, right?
Yeah.
I mean, we hate everything that the way things are, but we're afraid to change it, right? We don't want it to change, but we want it to be different, but we don't want to like go with the program and change it. It's like, reprogramming software. Like back in the day, before computers, then before iPhones and all that, as we evolve in our technology, a lot of us have resistance to it, right? We don't want to have this new technology because we like the way things were. We liked writing things down. Now everything's stored on the cloud and everything is digital. And a lot of us don't trust that. And over time and generations, it just becomes the norm. And like it was always that way. But like our old beliefs, our old behaviors, it's like an outdated code that we need to reprogram ourselves. And a lot of times we want to stay comfortable where we're at because that's all we know. Change does not happen in comfort. It doesn't. If I'm comfortable, I am not changing. If everything's going great and smooth and I'm fine, I'm not changing. I'm not willing to change. I'm not saying that's a bad thing. You don't have to do anything. And like Jim was saying earlier too, you don't have to do this. It's great when you see progress. It's great when you choose to do it because it tells my brain I can do it or don't have to do it. But I choose to do this sounds a lot better than I have to do it, because if you have to do something and someone forces you to do something, the chances are we ain't going to do it. So this step is more about like debugging or rewriting the code for a better operating system. How's that sound?
That sounds perfect, Mike. And you remember in step 6, we listed are character defects that we're asking to change, that we wish to change. Step 7 now, think about this in your own words, those that are watching and listening. What does step 7 mean to you now? And how do you want to use step 7 to help you with your step 6 list of character defects? And then additionally, how did those defects from step 6 that you listed down harmed you and harmed everybody else? And then maybe think about, what does humility look like for you today? Those are some great touch points to consider as you're taking a look at step 7. Remember, we're continuing to build from step 6. You got the list. Now, how did the list harm you? How did it harm others? And now what do you want to do? And in some ways, it's like, if I could ask you, create a new list of behaviors, create a new list of characteristics about yourself that you would love to have about you. Who's the person you're thirsting to be? Write those down. How do I get there? How do I get from east to west? Well, you know what you do? You just start. You just start.
And start now.
Yeah.
Pause this, get a piece of paper out, get your phone out, put it in your notes now, because I know how I am. Like, yeah, I'm going to start this. I'm going to make this list. I'm going to do all these things. I'm just going to wait till this podcast is over. I'm just going to wait till this show is over, or whatever I'm doing. And for me, I forget about it. I put it on the back burner, and then pretty soon the burner's off, and it's just sitting there on the stove getting all moldy. But we'll wrap this up here too. If you're having a difficult time in your life, we all are. Of course, if you stayed this long through our podcast, I hope you learned something. And remember, you don't need to be perfect. You just need to be committed to growth, right? And letting go, it is hard, but holding on to it can be darker and harder. And please, every time that you choose a better pattern, you reinforce a new path. And this is about building a life that you want. One small action, one small step, one small minute at a time. And remember, if you're having problems, if you're going through some tough things, reach out for help. And remember to halt and call for backup.
Get fooled again.
Don't get fooled again.